Good morning, guys. We are going to do a ball workout today. So what I want you to get, and again, you're going to have to improvise here or modify depending on what you have at home. If you have some small weighted balls, that would be great, or small weights. Otherwise, you could use cans of soup or beans or whatever you have, 2 of them. And then I don't know if you have a bender ball or some sort of a squishy ball like this. It could be a kid's ball. We are going to be putting it underneath our sacrum. There will be some body weight on it, so you just don't want it to be something that will pop on you. You could use a pillow or a bolster or anything like that. Again, we're playing with this, right? So you can modify whatever works. And then if you have a belt or a resistance band, this is a TheraBand. I'm just using it as a strap. You could use a belt off of a house coat, whatever you've got. So think of something that's a lightweight, smaller weight, that option, 2 of them, and then some sort of a squishy ball or a pillow or something that can go behind your back, in between your knees, and then a belt. Okay, that's all you're gonna need. Some water, space to work, so either a mat or on the carpet, and that's it. Okay, let's go. Okay guys, we're gonna start with our smaller weights. So either your small weighted balls, your cans of soup, or a lightweight dumbbell. And it's just actually gonna be underneath your hand here, so it's gonna lift you up a little bit. Okay, so shoulders are right over top of the wrists, knees are underneath the hips, toes are going to be curled under. Long line from your tail out the crown of your head. You're going to take a deep breath in, you're going to push out of the balls or the weights, and you're going to hover those knees off the ground. Pull the belly to the spine and just hold it. Just keep breathing here. Hold on to it. Keep pulling the belly up to the spine. Imagine the weight of the ceiling is down onto the length of your spine as you pull your belly up and into it. Squeeze the muscle to the bone. Squeeze through those legs. Fight the shake. Push the ground away from you. Pull the belly up. 3, 2, 1. Let it go. Take a breath. Release it. You're going to come forward again, onto all 4. We're going to add on to this. So this is just waking everything up, just like a plank would, okay? So we're in this 4-point position, and this is just going to push up and out, pull the belly up, lift those knees again, and now we're going to go into just little wipers. So you're going to shift the knees right, center, left, center, right, center, left. Keep going, right, and left. Keep pulling the belly to the spine. Breathe through it. That's it. Keep breathing. Nice, guys. Keep going. 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Release. Release back. Roll the wrists, wiggle those fingers. We've got 1 more set in that same position. So you can play with what you're working with. If you're finding it too much to be up on balls or weights, take your hands to the ground, punch fists to the ground, anything to take the stress off the wrist. So we're going to go back into the same position. Find it. Shoulders over wrists, knees under hips, curl the toes. Push up into that little bear crawl position. Pull belly to spine. Now we're going to shift forward and back. Forward and back. Shift and back. It's small but mighty. Pull the belly to the spine. Long line, tail out the crown of the head. Shift and back. 3, 2, 1. I'm going to take my knees wide, toes together, and I'm going to push back and breathe. Scoop the belly and roll it up. Nicely done. Okay, we're gonna flip it over now. So you're gonna come onto your back. So we're gonna be in that same 4-point position, but now we're supine, face up. So keep your cans of soup or your balls with you. We're coming down onto the ground. And just here, I want you to think of a neutral spine. So neutral spine is you've got a little pocket of blueberries underneath your low back. And if you think about using your exhale breath, funneling ribs to hips, and then do a little curl of the tail, there's your imprint spine. So now we've just squished the blueberries. And now you're gonna release the tail to neutral. And just do that a couple times. Roll, there's the squish, your imprint, and release. So whenever our legs come up, we go into that imprint spine, pulling belly to spine to protect the back, and release. This time you're gonna pull belly in, take a breath, and then release it and leave it in that neutral spine. Take a big inhale breath, and then exhale, and you're just gonna lift your arms up to the ceiling. So you've got your little weighted balls, and you're gonna reach, and then you're gonna plug the shoulders down. And you're gonna reach and plug the shoulders. Reach and plug the shoulders down. So it's a protract, retract, or into neutral. Reach and drop. So you're just kind of starting to mobilize the shoulder joint, grease up the wheel, right? Keep breathing. And then hold it in that position where those shoulders are down onto the ground. And you're gonna take it into a scissor arm here. So you're gonna take a breath and you're gonna exhale, lowering one overhead and one by the side. We're not touching down. You're only going as low as you can maintain the rib to hip connection. Exhale to pull up. And lowering down. And exhale to pull up. And scissor. And pull, scissor, and pull. Keep going, keep thinking of that rib to hip connection. Keep using your breath. 4 more, and pull, and 3, and 2. Last one. Take a deep breath in. Now both arms go overhead. You're going to reach overhead. Again, I'm not trying to touch the ground. I'm only going as low as I can maintain that rib-hip connection, and I'm still in neutral. And I'm going to exhale to pull back up. So I have to watch that I don't press my low belly down or pop my ribs up, okay? So I'm going to go overhead, nice control, exhale. So I'm just moving from that shoulder joint. Everything else is in neutral and stabilizing while I mobilize the shoulder joint. 2 more times, overhead and reach, overhead and reach. Now I'm going to hold it here and from the shoulder joint, so not the hand and arm, but the shoulder joint. So it might be smaller. I'm going to do tiny little circles like I'm stirring the head of the humerus in the shoulder joint. So think of a teaspoon of honey and you're swirling it slowly around in your teacup. Maybe you start to make those circles a little bit bigger, but be mindful that it's coming from your shoulder joint, not the hands or the arms, and reverse it. Keep breathing through it, staying in neutral spine and bringing it to center. Take a deep breath in, and then you're just going to slowly lower those balls down. Nicely done. Take a breath. You're going to bring one leg in, and you're going to roll yourself up, or you can turn over to the side to come up. Okay, we're going to go into a seated position now, and we're going to go into W fly and hug a tree. So W fly, I want you to think you're making that W below the shoulders, okay? So we're not here, we're not out here, we're bent in, okay? So we're going to start in this position. And you're going to take it out, out, in. So for those of you that do a lot of heavy weights, you might think this is really crazy easy. I'm holding soup cans, it's no big deal. I want you to go deep. I want you to go deep inside. Less is a lot more here. So really think about what is opening you in the shoulder joint, in the back, in the chest. Pull the belly up and into the spine. Keep growing tall out the crown of the head. Open, open, close. So this exercise is one that has helped me retrain and gain much more mobility through my shoulder. I have a permanent disability in the shoulder, and I've had 2 surgeries, and I can finally externally rotate a little bit. This is much less than this one, but I can, just by going small and trying to move my bones, which are not broken. The ligaments and tendons is what is the issue. So if I think bones, I get more out of it, if that makes sense. So now let's double fly it out. That's it. Your breath here can be when your exhale breath serves you. So think about, when do you need your belly and your abs to turn on? That exhale breath out the mouth lifts the pelvic floor, which turns on your transverse abdominis. That's it. Keep going. Open. Last one. And then release it. So in that, it's like small contraction, long time, okay? So you should feel that. And if you're just doing this, you're not going to. But if you tap into that slow and controlled motion, mindset to the movement, to the breath, you're going to get so much more out of it, I promise. So now we're going to go into hug a tree. So your arms are here, and you're going to round forward. So from the side, I am scooping my belly back as I hug a beach ball, and then I'm going to sit tall and open it up. All right? And my legs, I'm engaging from my pinky toe, and I'm drawing up. So this is all on. I'm sitting up out of my sit bones. I'm trying to grow tall out the crown of the head. So I'm going to scoop the belly back, and I'm going to open it. I'm going to exhale. I'm pulling the belly back to my spine, and I'm going to open. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. That's it. Keep going. Exhale. Pull the belly back. Inhale. 3 more. Scoop the belly. Restack the bones. Scoop the belly. Big beach ball. Restack the bones. 1 more time. Scoop the belly back. Restack the bones and let it go. Nicely done. Okay, so now we're gonna flip over again. So we're gonna go into our 4-point position, and we're gonna go into our bird dog. Okay, so pointed dog, bird dog. You're gonna need 1 weight ball, can of beans, whatever you got. Okay, so I'm gonna take my weight into the right hand. My left arm is directly under my shoulder. My left leg is gonna reach behind me. Right arm is reaching in front of me. Thinking long line, and I'm gonna lift. Oops, I'm gonna move this out of the way. Okay, I'm gonna lift and lower. Lift and lower. I am not going here. I don't want all this to dump, all right? I want to lift, lengthen, and tap. Lengthen, tap. Lengthen and tap. Lengthen and tap. 3 and tap. 2. Hold it at 1. Hold it. We're going to go into the second exercise here. You're going to pull into your cat and lengthen out. Round the spine and lengthen. Round and lengthen. 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Lengthen out, tap, and bring it back in. Roll it, wiggle the wrists and fingers, open the chest. Breathe through it. You're going to switch it all to the other side. So, lengthening out through the right leg, lengthening out through the left leg. Find that long line, belly to spine. Take a breath, lift and lower. Lift and lower. That's it. Think nice, long, solid line like an ironing board. Lift and tap. Lift and tap. 4. Last one, you're going to hold it up there. Hold it. Reach out those fingers and toes. And now carve the spine and reach it. Find your cat and reach. Flexion of the spine, neutral. Scoop, lengthen. 4 more. 3, 2, 1. Tap and bring it in. And let it go. Wiggle those wrists. Nicely done, you guys. Grab a drink whenever you want. Stay hydrated. So as always, you're going to modify as you go here, right? So if something's not feeling good, stop doing it. Switch it a little bit, change it a little bit. You can still move within whatever level you're at, whatever injury you have, okay? So there was a time when I couldn't hold a can of soup with this arm, so I would do it without. And maybe on one side I'd be straight and on the other I'd be down here. That's okay. Every time you go to that place, maybe you just push it a tiny bit further, and then it just starts to remember, and you just start to floss through the body, and it just starts to increase the range of motion. My shoulder and arm is never going to be where it was before, and I know that, but I choose to move it, because if I don't, I'm in even more pain than if I choose to move it. So it's just a choice you have to make in your body, wherever your injuries are at, wherever your mindset is at. It can really stop us. And some days you have to show yourself some grace, and it's just going to be one of those days. And other days you got to show yourself who's boss and push yourself a little bit and just see what you get out of it, okay? As long as you're being careful and mindful of your body, right? Okay, so we're going to go into some of the bender ball work. So again, if you've got like a soccer ball or volleyball isn't going to work, like that's too hard. It's got to be squishy. It's got to have some give, okay? So if it's a kid's, one of those kids blow-up balls, like a blow-up beach ball or something isn't going to do it. That might be, you know, especially if it's from the dollar store, that probably won't work. But something that's squishy. If you don't have it, you could use a small pillow. You could use a bolster, something that can go underneath your sacrum. So for this next round, we're going to have it underneath our sacrum. So I'm going to be on my back. Okay, so I'm going to be here. My feet are hip distance apart. I'm trying to let my shoulders go. So often you'll go hands down because you want the back line of your arm. Sometimes I like to turn mine up because it helps me open up my shoulders, because I have a hard time externally rotating them open. So I'm going to push into the tripod of my foot. So that's my big toe, pinky, and heel. Think about a little bit of a kind of almost like a suction cup up through the arch. I'm going to push into those feet, which are going to fire up from my ankle to my knees to my hips. I'm in my neutral. There's my pocket of blueberries. Ribs to hips. One full motion. I'm not rolling. I'm going to just exhale to lift and fold and lower. So there's my pocket of blueberries again. I'm not moving anything in this shape except that hip joint to open it and close it, to lift and lower. That's it. Lift and lower. Just waking up that hip joint and lower. When I get to the top, I'm thinking of energy shooting out the knees right from those shoulders and down. This time when I go up, I'm going to lift, and I'm going to, maybe I have to hike my hips a little bit higher, depending on what sort of ball you have or what sort of pillow. And you want it underneath your sacrum. So think about kind of that diamond shape right above like your tailbone, okay? So you want to find that spot. This is going to be a little bit of pressure. It's actually going to open up your hips a little bit. It's going to open up your pelvis, and I just want you to sit there for a second and take a breath. I love this position. Still think of ribs to hip connection when you exhale so that your belly's pulling to spine to keep it protected. Now in this position, you're going to slowly bring one leg into tabletop. Just one leg for this moment. Take a breath here from your hip, so not the knee, right? So this shape stays the same. I'm going to tap, dip my toe in water, exhale from the hip, belly to spine. Inhale, inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. You could add breath here. So if you find when you dip your toe, you're popping your belly and letting your ribs go, you need to exhale. So you could go exhale, stay, inhale, and then exhale to come back up. Inhale and exhale. So it's a lift and a lower. One more. Toe, ball of the foot, drop the heel, plant into this leg. Everything fires up. Exhale, other leg comes up. And it's tap and lift, tap and lift. Breathing through it, tap and lift, tap and lift. 3, 2, 1. Toe, ball, heel. I'm going to reconnect into the tripod of my feet. All right, so I can feel right from my heel, up my calves, right up my hamstrings, into my glutes are on. More so than my hip flexors, okay? So take a breath here. Exhale, ribs to hips. You're gonna bring one leg up and then the other. So here's sort of that imprint spine where you're pulling your belly into low back. So this could be a balance challenge, especially if you're on a ball. If you're on a pillow, it won't be so wobbly, but you're still thinking of pulling the belly in. And now we're going to go back into those toe taps, but you're going to alternate. So it's a dip and a lift, dip and a lift, tap and up, tap and lift. That's it. Keep using that. Exhale, ribs to hips, belly to spine. This is such good deep ab activation right here. That's it. It fires up the pooch. That's what I call it. That baby pooch that never seems to go away. 4 and exhale. 3, 2, 1. Pull. I am always, you'll see me with my hands here all the time. I have my thumbs on the base of my ribs and my fingers on my hip bones. I'm a rib popper, so I really have to tap into that exhale breath and make sure I'm funneling down, and by touching the bones, it makes me much more aware of what I'm doing. So now from here, you could come down, toe ball heel, take a little breath. You could release and roll the spine a little bit. And then roll back into it. Bring those legs back up. You're going to want the arms down here. You're going to lengthen the legs. We're going to go into scissor. So you're going to lengthen away, pulse together. away, and pulse twice together. Exhale, inhale. Exhale and inhale. So we're lengthening the toes away in opposition. This is like what we did on the foam roller workout if you did this with me. That's it. This is a little more of a balance challenge if you're on a ball because it's a smaller surface. So think about the fact that maybe your range isn't as big as it was on a cushion or a foam roller. One more each side. Keep pulling belly to spine. Hold it here. Take a breath. Shoulders are down. You could bend the knees in here for a second. Take a big breath in. Lengthen them right back up again. And you're going to lower. Exhale. Lift. You're only going to lower. If I start to pop here, I'm not going to go any further than that. I'm going to exhale to come back up. If I can go all the way down here and not pop, then that's okay, right? Find your range. Lower, lift. Lower and lift. Keep going, guys. Lower and lift. Everything is on. You could go heels together, toes apart. Really squeeze into that center line. 3 more. And 2. And 1. Bend those knees in. Nicely done. That's it. So we're going to pull your knees in, lift your bum up, and take that ball out or take the pillow out, whatever you've got. And then I want you to just lengthen the legs out for a second and just let it go, because that feels pretty incredible. Low back feels released. Hips are nice and open. Pelvis feels open and wider. Just breathe into it. On the next exhale, just slowly start to bring those legs into you. 1 in, and you can roll yourself up, or you can flip yourself over to the side. Nicely done, you guys. Okay, we're gonna go into flip it over, and we're just gonna do a little release. So you've got your ball. You could have a pillow out in front of you. It's not gonna roll with you. But your knees are wide, toes are together. You're kind of karate chopped onto your ball, and you're gonna roll it out. And this is just a nice release. So everything is lifted. I'm thinking about a long line from my tail, out the crown of my head, reaching through my fingers. You might be here, but as long as you're feeling that opening through the side body, oh my goodness, it's so yummy, into the armpit. Exhale, you maybe sink into it a little bit deeper. Take 1 more deep breath in, and you're gonna exhale, scoop the belly, and you're gonna restack your bones back up. Nicely done. Okay, let's flip it over. You're gonna take the ball behind your low back. So you might have to kind of wedge it under there if it's a ball. If you have a pillow, you might just be able to prop it under there without it popping out from you. And you're gonna grab your balls or your soup cans, whatever you've got. Remember to drink water when you need it, okay? You're gonna try and squeeze your legs together here, okay? Weights are in front of you, and you're going to just scoop into that ball and then restack the bones. So you could do it without the weights here right now. Let's actually take the hands here and elbows wide. Scoop it so you can see that C curve. Restack it. Pull the belly back into the back, low back, which is into that ball or pillow, and restack it. So it gives you a lot of feedback, and restack. Scoop and restack. So now let's add your weight to it, and you're gonna scoop. Remember that W fly? So here all of a sudden, cross lateral line from here to here, right? It's a huge long line. And you're going to sit it back up. And to the other side, scoop through center, open, and sit it up. Scoop back and open. So here our cross lateral line is working. Our obliques are working. Our intercostal muscles in between the ribs are working. You are squeezing your legs together, and you're trying not to let the legs go side to side. Try and stay centered through it. Keep pulling belly to spine. 4 more, and up, and 3, and up, and 2. Last one, all the way up, and let it go. So now you're going to take this ball, and it's going to come between the knees, all right? Hands underneath the thighs, elbows are wide. Sit up nice and tall, squeeze the ball, scoop, find that C curve. Don't let the neck come here, and you're not here. You gotta let your sternum sink away from you as well. Melt the shoulders down, squeeze the ball, and then restack up. Squeeze that green ball, or whatever ball or pillow you have, scoop and roll. So what that's doing is allowing you to squeeze into that center line. And up. So your medial line is hard to tap into sometimes. Think of adductor work. And back up. And scoop the belly back. Hold it there. Think about the C curve. So the C curve I'm talking about is from the knees, hooked right into the head, right almost into the forehead. Around. Scoop into it. Stay there. Squeeze that ball or pillow and lengthen one leg. Nice long line. Squeeze into that ball. Tap the toe. Don't let anything move. Keep pulling the belly back. Lengthen and tap. Lengthen. Keep driving the belly back. That's it. Scooping and slurping the belly back. Lengthen and tap. 2 and tap. 1 and tap. This time I'm going to lengthen it up and I'm going to squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. So pillow or ball, push, push, fire, fire. 4, 3, 2, hold, tap it down. Keep pulling into that C curve. Lengthen it and squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. That's it, guys. Come on. That's it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tap it down. And then you're going to stack it up. Open it up. Breathe through it. Take that ball out. Okay. We're going to go. You're almost there, guys. I promise. Okay. You're going to go into a windmill. So we're going to take the ball in between the feet. All right? So in between the ankles. You're going to come down onto your back. Your arms are going to be out into a bit of a V, so it gives you a bit of a kickstand. Take a breath. You're going to exhale the knees in. So you could put the ball in between here. If hip flexors get a bit crazy, or if the lever of the legs being long is too much, you bring it back into this bent knee position. Otherwise, you're going to come nice and long. You're going to point your toes. Again, if that starts to freak your feet out, flex your feet and push through the back line of your legs. And again, if the long leg starts to bug you, you take it into wipers and you just bend those knees. So because our legs are up, we're in that imprint spine. So we've squished our blueberries and made jam. Exhaling, ribs to hip connection. Take a deep breath in, slow and controlled. You're going to come over onto one hip, but both shoulders are on the ground. So I'm not lifting. I'm staying down. So I'm only going as far as all of this is controlled. And I'm going to exhale back to center. And I'm going to roll over onto the other hip, breathing and exhaling back to center. And I'm going to roll it over and So it does not have to be a huge move for you to feel this. Rolling over, control it over, control it back. Everything is on fire, and it's over and back, and it's 4 and pull, and 3 and pull, 2 and pull, 1 and pull. Take a big breath in and bend those knees. Nice, you guys. You're going to take the ball out for a second, and you're going to plant your feet. So they're hip distance apart. You're going to go into, instead of a hip lift, a hip roll. So you're going to roll the tail and lift yourself up, and then melt from the sternum and unravel those bones. So you're in neutral, and now you're going to roll pelvic wheel. So there's your imprint, right up out of imprint, up into that nice big bridge, and then roll it back down. One more time. This time you're going to stay up there. You're going to take the ball, and you're going to put it underneath the sacrum again, or your pillow, okay? Whatever you've got. You're going to plant one foot. This is where you're going to take your belt or your strap, whatever you have. You're going to exhale rib to hips, pulling belly to spine and into that ball. I'm going to bend one leg in, and I'm going to put my belt or strap around the foot. Make sure it's secure enough. It's not going to snap back at you. I'm pressing my heel towards the sky because I really love that opening. I'm not going to jam my leg straight. Well, because I can't. But if you're that flexible that you can jam right out, you got to give it a little bit of slack here. And I'm just going to let my leg drop. I'm going into a leg circle, but I'm not going to go out as far as I would if I was on the ground because I'm on a wobbly ball. So I'm dropping, and I'm stirring the joint. So it's not fast. It's slow and controlled. It's just like it was through the shoulder joint, stirring the humerus in the shoulder joint. Now we're stirring the head of the femur in that hip socket. And you're going to reverse it. Reverse it around and center. And be careful what's happening with this leg, because it's going to want, like especially when we go here, it's going to want to open. And you really want to think about that medial line, the squeezing of the ball. Keep that center line on. 2 more times. And up. Last one. And bend that knee back into you. Nicely done. All right, we're going to switch it up. So switch your side. Plant this foot. Lengthen the leg. Rib to hip connection. Take a breath. And down. And stir it out and around. This might be where you feel like, wow, the other side was way easier, or this side's easier compared to the other side. That's common. So just keep thinking of stirring that joint. If you're getting a lot of snapping and popping, other than just like one that might be a release, decrease your range of motion a little bit and reverse it now. 4 and up and 3. Watch that bent leg. 2 and 1 and up and bend it in. So when this leg is up, my left leg just wants to open up. I've got my whole left side was damaged when I got injured. So it's a real fight to keep this activated. So like I said, if you feel like one side is fighting harder than the other, that's totally normal. We're all lopsided. All right, planting both feet. I'm going to scoop the pelvic wheel. I'm going to lift and roll myself up. I'm going to take that ball out, and then I'm going to unravel. Oh, that feels so good. I'm going to bring the knees in, take a breath, and I'm going to roll it back up. All right, how are we doing, guys? Grab a drink. Cheers. Remember, take a drink whenever you want it. Okay, we're almost there. You ready? We're gonna go in a nice little mermaid release, okay? So you're gonna take your tail onto one side. Okay, so I like to flex this foot. I don't know if you guys can see that. So I like to flex this foot. You could point it. Flexing it protects the knee a little bit more. I also like to push this foot into the thigh so that I get this opening. So I want you to roll your hip and then try and ground it down. And a roll and ground, that's it. Roll and ground. 2 and 1. So even if that butt cheek is not getting to the ground, all right, the flesh might, but if the sit bone is not, which is what I'm talking about, it's the intention of I'm trying to ground that sit bone down as I go into the side bend, okay? So if it's lifting, which it's going to when I come over, I still mentally have to tap into that grounding. You could always take like a yoga block or something and wedge it under there if you really need that feedback, or your pillow or whatever you have. But just stay connected in your mind to it rather than just collapsing into it. So you're gonna take your wobbly squishy ball. If it's a pillow that you have, maybe you move your pillow out so that you're just up a little bit. It just opens up that bottom connection. So you're gonna lift up. I'm gonna ground through that hip and I'm gonna open up. Take a great big breath. I'm gonna reach and I'm gonna ground and pull myself back up. And again, lift and over. And reach and pull. 2 more, up and over. It's like I'm gliding between 2 panes of glass. And lift and ground. And 1 more time, guys. Up and over. Reach and pull. Nicely done. That outside leg, bring it across. That's it. You might be here. It doesn't matter. As long as you can kind of hook up, maybe you grab around it, maybe you use that belt, you sit tall, plant the back hand, and just find a nice little twist. The beauty of working with balls, it's a lot of release work, so we're not left stretching a lot. You can always take some time after this to stretch extra, but as you're strengthening, the other side is lengthening or releasing and letting go, which is kind of the beauty of it. It's such yummy work. I keep saying that, but it's yummy. So either flex your foot or point your foot, and then you're gonna rock the hip back and forth. So thinking about grounding those sit bones down. Couple more times. That's it. And then ground it down as much as you can. Take a big breath up. And then you're going to carve the underside. So I'm trying to scoop the underside and open those ribs before I even bend over. And then I'm gonna reach and I'm gonna ground that hip down and pull myself back up. So I'm lifting up. I'm gonna think of opening those ribs, carving the underside, opening the top side, and over I go. You could do this without a ball, right? And bring it back up. 2 more up. And carve and scoop and slurp. And breathe. Last time, all the way up. So yummy. That's it. Reach and pull. Take that outside leg. You're gonna wrap it around you. Sit up nice and tall. This butt cheek's off the ground, but I'm still thinking of grounding it down, planting that hand. I'm tall. I'm gonna just spiral and twist gently. And releasing it to the front. That's it for today, you guys. So hopefully you got some engagement and some release, and you got to experience some yumminess. And you could repeat that whole series if you wanted to. You could spend more time in each one. And like I said, we'll keep adding other things so that you can kind of switch in between what you want to work on. And we'll do another ball workout soon so that you have some more ideas to work with, okay? Enjoy your day. And stay safe out there. I know things are still crazy out there, and just stay safe. Do what you need to do, but be kind. Spread kindness to everybody. Spread some love and positive vibes, and yeah, have a fabulous day, you guys. Take care.